Good morning. This is Angela with a cup of tea on Thursday, August 4th, 2011. I'm coming back to a topic I've discussed before, and I understand its importance, and some of these are coming back around for like a second run because there are other perspectives or other um, sides to the topic that should be covered for a good foundational understanding, because a lot of these topics, as individual as our paths are, they're very foundational. They're very helpful in terms of helping us evolve on our spiritual path and progress up the paths to the top of the mountain. And if you want to do it slower, that's your choice. If you want to do it with grace and ease, that's your choice too. So my goal personally is with most grace and ease. So I'm coming back to talking about listening to the heart and listening to the soul. And it sounds so simple, yet it is one of the most challenging things that many of us have to experience, or many of us choose to experience. Because I'm coming back to these thousands and thousands of years of practice of habits that we have formed, of cultural and societal expectations, of peer and family and love expectations and things like that. So we're trying to get ourselves out of this habit. We're trying to break the habit. And all of that is the ego. The ego has come in and said, this is how we're going to do things, and this is why we're going to do things, and this is the way we're going to do things. And it's just all part of the existence, the way we wanted to experience it, and that's okay. But now we're trying to clear the slate. We're trying to go back to a purer form of ourselves. And in doing so, we have to sort of undo those habits and create the new ones, like I've said like a zillion times already. And people say to me all the time, well, how do I know? How do I know it's coming from the heart? How do I know it's, it's not an egoic thing? And I always give these exercises on how to just start focusing on the heart. And sometimes it's just taking a couple of deep breaths, and it's focusing in while you're breathing into your heartbeat. And once you can do that, you can sort of feel the light of divinity coming from your heart, because the anchoring of our souls come in through the heart and solar plexus chakra. So we're right here, we're focused, the physical anchoring of our souls come right into our bodies through here. So if you can focus in right here on your body when you're actually clear and focused, and take the mind out of the way, that is the first step towards hearing what your heart has to say and what's going to make your heart sing. There are some exercises that are very similar to that, and there was one, actually, a person I was speaking with the other day. She had told me, I was about to tell her something about that, and she told me a friend of hers had told her to do this exercise where she was rubbing her heart as she was clearing her mind. So that's a physical way of helping you focus in here. And then if the mind started going, you say, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, right now. There are many ways of doing that, but usually, if you can actually focus in there, the first answer you get when you ask yourself a question is going to come from your higher self. And then what happens is you hear all these interferences that prevent you from listening, the buts. Now, it's a very interesting thing, the buts, and I think I talked about this in another webcast, but not in detail. I think I sort of just said it in passing. The buts come from the ego. I would love to do this, but. Okay. What are the buts about? The buts are about cultural expectations, but I can't because of this. I can't, or I shouldn't because of this, or if I don't, then this will happen. If I do, this will happen. And most of those all come from what is expected, what you feel like others expect of you, what you expect of yourself, what you've come to expect of what a certain box should be for your life. And that's what we're trying to let go of. So if you actually start to dig, and it's a really fun exercise to start digging, because then you start asking yourself, so what? So what if that happens? Well, then you'll get another but. Well, if that happens, then this won't happen, or this will happen. But then if you start thinking about it, the more you have all these details about this, this is also going back to manifesting our reality and letting go of the reins. Because when we don't let go of the reins, I'm going to repeat myself on that, when we actually say the only way to get here is by going this path, you're limiting yourself to all of these other paths that might actually be easier and more graceful for you and quick. So I look at butts as walls. And, you know, I've talked a lot about taking down the walls. You know, we put all these walls up in front of us and we've separated things out and given empowerment to other things outside of us and pretended that we have no power over certain things. So we're taking down all the walls. Now, so if you think about a but in your mind and a can't, shouldn't, won't, should, all that kind of stuff, that's all ego-based, and those are buts, and that comes as up as walls. So think about it. If you're trying to get from point A to point B being, this is where my heart sings, this is where I reach my highest and best in the most grace and ease and gives me the most absolute joy in the universe. So from A to B, as soon as you put up a but, you're putting up a wall. Now what are you doing? You're limiting your path. You're limiting the path to get there. Like we said about letting go of the reins. Okay, so the more butts you give yourself, the more walls you're putting up. And so if we're trying to take that, so think about it physically. If you have a wall in front of you, if you have 5 walls like obscuring your view, that's exactly what you're doing, is you're obscuring your view. And you're not able to see the entire forest and the trees. And you might not be able to see the clearest way or be able to understand the clearest path or the fastest path or the one with the most grace and ease to get to where your heart and soul will sing. So, what just came back, came back to me was from a meditation. Oh, wow, I totally forgot about this. I had a really interesting, and it's so actually perfect. It's exactly what I'm trying to talk about. And it was with Krishna, which is funny because up until about a year ago, I never had any connection with Krishna whatsoever. And Krishna's come into me probably about 3 or 4 times in meditation. And this one time, I'm standing over this city, and I'm looking at my goal. I was trying to get to a place. I was trying to get to somewhere or some person. And I could see, I was like sort of on a balcony, and I could see all these paths, and they were all winding, and it was so complex and so convoluted. And I was really actually sort of frustrated because I was like, well, I can't see the way to go. I can't see how to get there. And all of a sudden I realized Krishna was standing next to me. And I always laugh because the 4-ish times that Krishna has appeared, it's always been sort of like the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland, but that's another topic for another day because it's always in riddles. But without me saying anything directly to Krishna, I heard, remember that we have created all of the paths. We've created all of the rules. And we can take them down. We can clear the path. We can clear the rules. And we can go wherever we want, whichever way we want. It's our choice. And all of a sudden, it was so simple to me because, of course, we created them all. We created the walls. We put all those labyrinths in there. We can take them down and reformat the whole thing. So I was like, you're right. And at the end of that meditation, what I did was I ended up just pushing the walls away and walking right through them and just getting to the point I wanted to get. So what a perfect illustration of what I'm trying to talk about. So as soon as we take down those buts, as soon as we say, okay, you know what, I'm not listening to this, I am going to start stepping in a direction I think is in the right direction. Now, again, that's important too, is we can say the affirmations and we can see the end point. But if we're standing there, if we're standing at that balcony and we see that end point, but we don't ever make any progress, we don't ever do anything to try to get there, then it's going to take a whole lot longer waiting for like a bird to come and pick us up. And we might decide that's the way it's going to happen. But it's important also to say, okay, well, I'm going to start out this way, and I'm going to leave it to my soul, leave it to my higher self and my heart to get me where I want to go so that I can sing. And you know, the funny thing is when you realize that it's truly coming from your heart and not from your mind, you're letting go of the specifics. You're letting go of the who, what, when, where, why, because you know you're going to get what's going to make you the happiest if that's what you choose to do, what's going to make you the happiest overall, the most fulfilled, the most in love with this existence and all that's around you. So your homework this week is to think about what in your life you have, what portion of your life or what path in your life have you created, and on what path have you created all of these buts, all of these walls, and how have you made things so complex when you should just, and how can you take down those walls to make it more easy and graceful? Just one thing, because we all have them. No matter how far along we go, there are still things in, because we're in such a habit and we're breaking this habit. So that's one of the first steps. On that, I'm going to let you go. This is Angela with a Cup of Tea. We'll see you Thursday.